You know the drill. You're scrolling through your feed and bam, there it is again. Another influencer, perfect photo, glowing review, and of course, a special discount code just for you. It looks incredible, it sounds amazing, but is it actually a good deal? Today, let's peel back that filter and really separate the hype from the reality of these influencer food promotions.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? We see these huge discounts, these food trends that go absolutely viral, and it is so tempting to just jump on them. But today, we're going to break down the entire playbook. We're going to look at the most common types of deals and figure out which ones are genuinely worth your money and which ones are just really, really clever marketing.
All right, first up, let's tackle the health hacks. You know the ones I'm talking about. These are the products that promise you can eat all your favorite junk foods, but with none of the guilt. They're everywhere, almost always paired with an influencer's affiliate code. But what are you really getting for your money?
So let's take the Better brand bagel. The pitch is honestly incredible. All the joy of a big New York bagel, but with the protein of a steak. It sounds like a miracle product, right? But the reality, according to pretty much everyone who's tried it, is that while it wins on paper, it completely, totally fails the taste test. This is the phrase that comes up again and again and again to describe the texture, like chewing memory foam. Instead of that crisp crust and chewy inside you want from a bagel, you get this uniformly spongy thing. It's the perfect example of how a super impressive nutrition label doesn't always mean you're going to enjoy eating it. Okay, let's move on to another health hack I am sure you've heard of on a podcast or two. Magic Spoon cereal. The pitch is pure nostalgic genius. It's all your favorite childhood cereals, but now they're keto-friendly and guilt-free. The reality, though? Well, it's a little stickier. Turns out the milk protein they use gives it a texture that basically glues itself to your teeth. And a lot of people report this distinct chemical aftertaste from the artificial sweeteners, something the influencers conveniently forget to mention.
And then we get to the price. We're talking around $10 for a box that is noticeably smaller than your average box of Cheerios. The cost per bowl is just astronomical. It really makes you wonder, is a guilt-free trip down memory lane really worth that much?
All right, let's talk meal subscriptions. Factor is a huge one, and they push these aggressive 50% off deals like crazy. The promise is super enticing. Chef-prepared, restaurant-quality meals ready to eat in just 2 minutes. I mean, it sounds like the perfect solution for anyone who's busy. But here's the reality check. That restaurant-quality claim, it's a bit of a stretch. These meals often pack a massive punch of sodium, sometimes well over 1,000 milligrams. Vegetables can get this kind of wet, soggy texture after you microwave them, and a really common complaint online involves what people call dark patterns, where they make it surprisingly hard to skip a week or, actually cancel your subscription. Convenient? Sure. A gourmet experience? Not exactly. So now let's pivot a little, removing away from discount codes and into the world of pure, unadulterated hype. We're talking about those viral restaurant chains that don't even need a code, because their entire marketing strategy is built on creating a social media frenzy. And the undisputed king of this category is Crumble Cookies. You have to admit, their strategy is brilliant. They sell these massive, super photogenic cookies, but they drop a new menu every single week. This creates this powerful sense of scarcity and urgency, FOMO basically. And of course, there's that iconic pink box that is practically designed for your Instagram feed. They have built an entire empire on these viral moments. But what's the secret? How do they get that perfectly gooey, camera-ready center every single time? Well, according to professional bakers and food scientists who've looked into it, the answer is surprisingly simple. The cookies are intentionally underbaked. This guarantees a soft, doughy texture that looks amazing in a cross-section video, but it means you miss out on that complex, caramelized flavor of a properly baked cookie. And that brings us to the most consistent critique from food writers. The sweetness is just overwhelming. It's the primary flavor. And that aggressive sweetness tends to mask the absence of other, more subtle notes, like high-quality butter, or a good pinch of salt, or rich vanilla. It's basically a sugar bomb designed for your eyes, not necessarily for a complex flavor experience. Okay, so we've waded through a lot of overrated hype, and it's looking kind of bleak. But what if I told you there's a corner of the influencer world where the deals are actually real? Let's look at where influencers can point you to some genuinely valuable savings. What I like to call the free money apps.
It sounds like a total scam, doesn't it? An influencer offering you a huge discount, not on some meal kit, but on a legitimate, high-end, sit-down restaurant. But believe it or not, this is happening. And the mechanism behind it is surprisingly simple and totally legit. And it's all powered by apps like Seated and In Kind.
The whole business model is based on something called yield management. It's the exact same logic airlines use to sell cheaper tickets to fill up empty seats on a flight. These apps help really high-quality restaurants fill their tables on, say, a slow Tuesday night. The restaurant gets a customer they wouldn't have had otherwise, and you get a fantastic deal. It is a genuine win-win.
And using them is super straightforward. Let's take Seated, for example. You just book your table through their app, you go enjoy your meal, and then you just snap a photo of the receipt and upload it. A little while later, you get anywhere from 15 to 30% of your bill back as rewards for things you probably already use, like Amazon gift cards or Uber credits.
But, and this is a big but, there is a catch. You have to be a savvy diner. With an app like Seated, your rewards can actually expire if your account isn't active for too long. With other apps like In Kind, you're prepaying, which means your cash is locked into their system. And these services are typically only available in major cities. So the value is real, but you've got to be smart about how you use it.
So when we step back and look at the whole picture, a pretty clear verdict emerges. The influencer food space is absolutely dominated by overrated products. Yeah, there are some mixed bags in there, but the truly underrated, valuable deals are much more rare, and they require you to actually understand the system behind them. So let's put it all together in one final cheat sheet. From the rubbery texture of so-called healthy bagels to the one-note sweetness of viral cookies, the claims almost never match the reality. What this tells us is that the best deals aren't for these trendy, direct-to-consumer products. They're for established restaurants that are using these smart yield management apps, but only if you play your cards right.
So the next time you're scrolling and that must-have food deal pops up in your feed, you'll have the playbook. You'll know what questions to ask, what pitfalls to look for, and that makes you wonder, what's the next deal you see that you're going to look at completely differently?